Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the courtroom to witness the trial of Aaron Hernandez. The judge in turn is entering the court. Please arise to greet the judge.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case people of the state Massachusetts versus Aaron Hernandez, both sides ready.
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for defense, Your Honor.
Can declare swear in the jury.
Can the jury please stand and raise your right hand? Do each of you swear that you will try the case fairly before this court and render a true verdict according to the evidence and instruction of the court. Please say, yes, I do.
I do.
You can sit down.
Ladies and gentlemen, on June 16, 2013, shortly after 9 p.m., the defendant brought to Olin Joint. He told Olin Joint that he, the defendant Aaron Hernandez, would come to his house that night. He also took messages to two of his friends who were in Connecticut, Ernest Wallace and Carlos Ortiz. With the defendant behind the wheel, the three picked up Olin Joint outside his Boston home after 2:13 a.m. With the defendant at the wheel, they went to a remote and isolated area in North Attleboro, a tomb where Olin joined only when the defendant and Chayana Jenkins, the defendant fiancé, their Olin joint was shot 6 times, once in the forearm, once in his right side, twice in the back as he was falling. 2 projectiles were recovered from his body. Olin Joint had multiple bullet wounds to his chest. They passed through with him while he was on the ground. With the defendant Carlos Ortiz and Ernest Wallace left the scene. When they left Olin Joint, they left evidence at the scene. They took evidence, they created evidence through their collective efforts, and they attempt and in some cases successfully succeed in destroying evidence. The evidence he presents will show you that defendant is wielding a shark.
Aaron Hernandez is an innocent man. The evidence will show that Aaron Hernandez did not murder his friend Olin Lloyd in order he asked or orchestrated anyone else to murder him. Aaron Hernandez is not guilty. We are here because the police and the prosecutors targeted Aaron from the very beginning. As soon as they know that Aaron Hernandez, the celebrity football player, the New England Patriot, was a friend of Olin Lloyd, they collected evidence in order to support the story that you told us. Even when the evidence they collect should have led them in our direction. They looked on Aaron at the very beginning and they targeted him when they developed evidence that two other men who, unlike Aaron, were not friends of Olin Lloyd. The investigation was sloppy and unprofessional. The trial will be really long. We thank you for your vital service you will supply to your community. The evidence will show that Aaron Hernandez is an innocent man. Aaron Hernandez knew Gary Wallace and Carlos Ortiz, but not quite closely. The evidence that will show that Aaron Hernandez did not murder his friend Olin Lloyd. Therefore, my client is not guilty.
The prosecution may call its first witness.
I refuse to testify against Aaron Hernandez. My medical condition prevents my from testifying in a trial. It is visible that her from mom's cancer. So medical condition prevents my from testifying at this trial.
Your sister, Shanag, is she older or younger than you are?
Younger.
Are you close as sisters?
Mm,
Have you been in the past then?
I mean with stranger enough.
And during that time, did you do anything with the box that was in the bag that was in the trunk of the car?
I did.
And what did you do with it?
I disposed of it
And when you say you dispose of it, where did you dispose of it?
in a dumpster.
And where was the dumpster?
Mm, I don't know.
Yours is a fairness. There's certain things you remember and other things you don't.
Yes.
Tell you how your relationship started.
In high school, we had a couple class together, so our relationship kind of evolved.
And how did it evolve?
We would talk a lot more, pass notes back and forth, talk on the phone.
At some point in high school, did his health die?
He did.
Okay, tell us what happened.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You recall that he died while he was having surgery in the hospital?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Yes.
And Aaron was 16 at the time.
He was.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Your full name?
Shiny Jenkins.
Did your sister start dating someone at the school?
Yes.
With whom?
Aaron Hernandez.
Do you see it in court?
Yes.
You can point it out and describe what you're wearing.
Wears a black suit with a light blue shared.
The record may reflect that the witness identified the defendant. During his period of work, he met a person named Odin Joy.
Yes,
When did you start your relationship with Odin Joy?
March 2012.
Good. How would you describe the relationship that Odin and the defendant had?
They were only together when my sister and I were present.
The images will be displayed on the screen that I recently showed you. Regarding the relationship of the defendant and Odin, did you know about marijuana?
Yes,
Do you know where Odin and the defendant most smoke marijuana?
at our house in the basement.
Could you describe how Odin is it towards marijuana rolls?
They were made of white paper and they were a little thick.
These are marijuana joints that I astro.
Yes, I showed him a photograph he had on his cell phone.
Could you describe what is in the basement?
It is the cave Aaron had a pool table, television, a bar, bathroom, bedroom, gym equipment, and a movie theater.
Do you recognize what appears in the photo?
Yes, it is a basement bar. Is the TV, the pool table.
Okay. When the officers arrived at Aaron Hernandez's house, were you present?
Yes,
Who was the behavior of the officers?
professional.
How did you perceive Aaron as the cops arrived at his house?
I was somewhat strict.
I mentioned if he was upset or sad about the death of his friend Odin.
Yes,
Did you have any general conversation with the defendant about his death?
no, none.
How did you notice the defendant?
Something isolated. I didn't hit an street general.
I understand that this is your entire honor. Did I observe that erratic behavior?
I don't understand. Yes,
Did you observe any behavior in the video consistent with what he had described in the past?
not in the one that I saw today, no.
Do you remember the information about the tower?
I don't know. I don't remember when I actually saw that.
I found a used piece of blue publishers gum, and when I moved the seat, I saw what looked like a bullet.
Did he offer you something before he left?
Yes,
What thing?
he offered me a piece of gum.
And did you see the gum I was offering you?
Yes, it looked like blue publishers gum.
Mr. Radley, how did you meet Mr. Hernandez?
We met when Aaron was finishing college and preparing to play in the NFL. This was in 2010. I saw I saw him with. That's how our is the relationship started.
Bradley, have you ever seen Aaron Hernandez smoke pot?
every day, constantly.
What was his relationship with Mr. Hernandez?
At first, he was just a sale acquaintance of mine, but eventually we became a very good friend.
Do you know an individual named Aaron Hernandez?
I do.
What grade did you meet?
I believe it was sixth grade.
When he came back to the area in 2010 and signed with the Patriots, what, if anything, happened with your friendship?
We started talk more often. We came close again.
How frequently would you speak with Mr. Hernandez on the phone?
Probably every day. We were super closer.
Once Aaron was drafted by the Patriots, did the two of you decide to become a couple in the long run?
Yes, I had the seed to kind of up and live my life and move with him.
Do you have any rules about using marijuana?
Did I have any rules?
Yes.
He had a designated spot,
Where was that?
his main car.
In the basement?
Yes,
And at some point, did you meet an individual by the name of Odin Joy?
I did.
And how did you meet Odin Joy?
From my sister.
First I smelled the air fresheners, and after a short time I smelled a very unpleasant smell in the hallway.
Could you describe the unpleasant odor you felt?
To me it was like the smell of a skunk.
Mr. Arman, where did you meet Mr. Hernandez?
I had seen him before at the club. Until that night, he approached me touching my him to the game to attention. At first, I ignored him, but after insisted, I started talking to him again. He told me his name was Rock, and he asked me to dance. We danced for about 10 minutes, and he stormed of my song. He returned and left, saying he'd bet to the right back. When he returned about 10 minutes later, his behavior was too aggressive. He tagged me beat to the arm and then led me near the front of the door, taking her to the dance.
The DJ announced. He said Aaron Hernandez was in the building, and I see him, but he was not calm.
What you observed in Hernandez's face?
Everything was tense. His eyes were beaming directly at people. His mouth was like a ground.
What happened after that party?
I saw Aaron storming out of the club, but he walking aggressively, really fast.
How did he look?
He looked very mad.
Mr. Croft, what was his relationship with Mr. Hernandez?
You are honored, like Mr. Hernandez, as the players is in general, the entire teams are the assets. However, they are also considered family. That is why I was interested when Hernandez was.
Let the jury come in. What do you say, ma'am, is to defend innocent or guilty, first degree murder and second degree murder?
He is guilty of murder in the first degree.
Madam President, under what theory or theories, with full intent or extreme cruelty or atrocity?
Atrocity or extreme cruelty.
Member of the jury, I want to thank you all very much for giving us your valuable time to listen and decide discuss. I also understand that I is not easy to judge another human being.